You think you have time. You hear people say, 60 is the new 40 inches, and you nod along because you still feel pretty good. Your knees don't scream when you stand up. Your memory still pulls up names without effort. Your calendar has breathing room for the first time in decades. You tell yourself the hard part is behind you, that the years ahead will stretch out slow and golden like a long summer evening. They won't. I'm 92. I was born when Franklin Roosevelt was still in office, when radios were furniture and the Depression was still a fresh scar. I've buried my husband, my parents, both my brothers, my closest friends, even one of my children's spouses. I've lived long enough to become a kind of living archive. And what I want to tell you, especially if you're in your 60s right now, is that your decade is not the beginning of ease. It is the very last window you have to prepare for what comes after. And what comes after is harder, lonelier, and faster than you can imagine. My name is Margaret Russo. Everyone called me Maggie. For 38 years, I was the guidance counselor at Westinghouse High in Pittsburgh. I retired at 70, thinking I had planned everything perfectly. Savings in the bank, a mortgage paid off, a husband who still held my hand when we walked, kids who checked in, grandchildren who ran to me with sticky hugs. I was wrong about almost all of it. I'm not here because I figured it out. I'm here because I didn't. And I wish someone had grabbed me by the shoulders at 62 and said what I'm about to say to you. Lesson 1. Your body is going to betray you faster than you think. Build strength now while it still listens. At 62, I could walk 3 miles along the river trail without a second thought. I carried grocery bags up 2 flights of stairs. I dropped to the floor to play Legos with my granddaughter and popped back up like it was nothing. I assumed that body would always be mine. By 75, a mile felt like a victory. By 80, I had to pause halfway up the stairs to catch my breath. At 84, a stroke stole what was left. My left side went quiet. My balance vanished. My independence evaporated. The muscle you lose after 60 is brutally hard to reclaim. The bone density you shed doesn't come back. The balance you once took for granted now demands constant attention. If you don't fight for your body in your 60s, walking, lifting, stretching, balancing, you will spend your 80s and 90s trapped inside a frame that refuses to obey the person you still are inside. I watch my great-grandchildren chase each other across the lawn, and I remember when those legs were mine. I wish I had treated them with more respect. If you can still walk 3 miles today, go walk 3 miles. Every day. Do it for the woman you'll be at 90. Lesson 2. Your friends will disappear faster than you expect. You need more of them than you realize. I had my Tuesday girls, Barbara, Eileen, Margaret, and me. We met for lunch every week for nearly 40 years. We knew each other's children's middle names, each other's secret fears, each other's parents' voices on the phone. I thought that circle was permanent. Barbara went first, heart attack at 75. Eileen followed in 2014, pancreatic cancer, 81. Margaret in 2020, COPD, 87. I'm the last one standing. I didn't make new friends in my 60s. I thought I had enough. I was wrong. Now, almost everyone who remembers me at 35 is gone. My daughter is kind. My grandchildren visit, but it isn't the same. There is no substitute for someone who knew you when your hair was still brown, when your parents were alive, when your wedding dress still fit in the closet. Start collecting people now. Younger friends, neighbors, book club members, church friends, anyone. Cast a wide net. Because the loneliness of outliving your history is a cold, quiet thing. Lesson 3. Talk about death and money while everyone can still speak. When my mother was 89, she had a massive stroke. She couldn't talk anymore. For 3 more years, we guessed what she wanted. DNR or full code? Aggressive treatment or hospice? Where was the will? Who had the bank passwords? We argued in hallways, cried in parking lots, made choices in the dark. I swore I would never leave my children with that same fog. I finally sat down with Lisa and Michael when I was 74. I should have done it at 64. I should have done it the day I became a grandmother and understood that my death would ripple into lives I hadn't even met yet. Talking about it feels morbid, like tempting fate. But fate doesn't need an invitation. Sit with your kids, your spouse, your siblings. Write it down. Tell them where the important papers are, what you want when machines are breathing for you, who gets the silver, and who gets the stories. Do it now while the room is still warm with voices. Lesson 4. Retirement doesn't rescue you, it unmasks you. I spent 38 years dreaming of retirement. No more 6:30 alarms, no more teenage crises, no more endless forms. I would garden, travel, read every book I'd postponed. When I retired at 70, I unraveled instead. For nearly 4 decades, I had been Mrs. Russo, the counselor who knew what to say. Without that title, I didn't know who I was. I felt invisible, useless, adrift. It took 3 long years to rebuild a self that didn't depend on a paycheck or a job description. 3 years of feeling like a ghost in my own house before I discovered I loved painting watercolors, shelving books at the library, having coffee with my daughter just because it was Tuesday. If your identity is tied to your work, start growing something else now. A hobby, a cause, a friendship circle, a curiosity. Because the day you punch out for the last time, you'll need a life to step into. If you haven't built one, the silence will be deafening. Lesson 5. You have far fewer healthy years with your spouse than you imagine. Anthony and I had 63 years together. It sounds like forever until you do the math. The first 20 were young, frantic, full of babies and mortgages. We were too busy to notice each other some days. The next 15 held our worst years. The near divorce, the counseling, the slow rebuilding. We didn't find real peace until our 50s. After that, we had maybe 30 good years left. Of those, only about 10 were truly active and healthy traveling, dancing at weddings, keeping up with grandchildren. Then the slowing began. Medications, appointments, walkers, confusion. The last decade of our marriage was love, yes, but love spent managing decline. I would give anything to have him back, even frail, even fading. But I wish I'd understood in my 60s that the window for adventure was already closing. Take the trips. Stay out late. Say yes to the weekend away. Don't assume the healthy years are infinite. They never are. Lesson 6. Forgive now, because later the chance disappears. My brother Frank and I didn't speak for 8 years over a stupid argument about mom's care and a little money. I was 67 when I decided I was right and he was wrong. I waited for his apology. He waited for mine. He died of a heart attack at 79 while we were still silent. I will never hear his laugh again. I will never roll my eyes with him over the same old family stories. 8 years of pride for nothing. If someone you love is on the other side of a wall, call today. Not when you feel ready, Not when the apology feels perfect. Today. Because death doesn't wait for you to be mature about it. Lesson 7. Your grown children don't need your advice. They need your presence. I spent my 60s trying to guide Lisa and Michael the way I guided high school kids for 38 years. I had wisdom, experience, answers. They didn't want answers. They wanted their mother to show up, hold the baby, eat the overcooked pasta, listen without fixing. Every time I offered unsolicited advice, I was saying, I don't trust you to figure it out. It took until my 70s to learn to close my mouth and open my heart. By then, I'd pushed Michael so far, we lost 7 years. Your adult children are adults. Love them by being there, not by being right. Lesson 8. Write it down, because memory is the first thing to leave. I have 11 grandchildren and 6 great-grandchildren. I keep a list by my bed because I can't always remember their birthdays. I forget what I ate yesterday. I lose whole conversations. This isn't tragedy, it's biology, but it hurts. I started journaling at 78. I wish I'd started at 60. Write the stories, how your father laughed, what your mother's kitchen smelled like on Sunday, the name of your first dog, the way your husband proposed. Write what you want your great-grandchildren to know about the woman you were before the years softened you. Those memories only live in your head until they don't. Lesson 9. Courage isn't feeling brave, it's doing it scared. I spent my 60s terrified of what was coming. Losing Anthony, losing my health, losing my home, losing myself. I tried to outrun the fear by ignoring it. It didn't work. Every single thing I dreaded happened. And yet I'm still here. I still laugh at my granddaughter's terrible jokes. I still love the first sip of morning coffee. The losses changed me, shrank me, but they didn't erase me. You'll be scared. That's normal. Prepare anyway. Choose courage over denial. You're stronger than you know. Lesson 10. The last 30 years disappear faster than the first 60. I blinked and I was 70. I blinked and Anthony was gone. I blinked and I was 92, sitting in my daughter's living room with a photo of him on the shelf and a camera pointed at me. Time accelerates when you've seen most of the seasons before. The years fold into each other. You wake up and a decade is gone. Pay attention right now to the ordinary Tuesdays, to the hands you still hold, to the legs that still carry you. Say, I love you. Take the trip. Make the call. Forgive the grudge. Because one day you may be 92, talking to a screen, hoping someone younger hears you in time. I talk to Anthony every night. I tell him about the day, about the kids, about how much I miss him. He doesn't answer, but I keep talking. That's what love becomes when there's only one chair left at the table. I'm 92. I've outlived almost everyone I ever loved. If I could sit across from the 60-year-old Maggie who thought she had forever, I'd take her hands and say, "It goes fast, faster than you can believe. Don't waste it. You still have time, but not as much as you think."